Yeah, so let us quickly recap some of the in discovering the World Wide Web, the documents on the World Wide Web. Now this is, again, one of the very important first steps in the making of a search engine, right? Let us understand this with an example. Imagine that you are a librarian, and your library is one of the biggest in the world. And say, for example, you have hundreds of thousands of books in your library. I come to your library, right, and I ask you for one specific book on a specific topic that I'm looking for, right, but you don't have that. You have everything. Right, so this is one of the extremely important steps. And this is known as the process of crawling the web. We have seen from the video like how exactly it happens, right? Google bot goes onto a page that it already knows about, and then looks for links pointing to other pages and jumps to those pages, right? And captures the data there and then jumps to other links, right? Other pages that are linked from those pages, right? So that is how it works, basically. So what Googlebot also does once it is on a given page is that it basically copies that page, copies the entire content, or takes a snapshot of that page and passes that information onto the next in the line process called indexing. Again, this is also an extremely important process or steps in making of a search engine, right? Going back to the example, right, of the library, imagine you pick up a book, a small textbook from your library, say 300 pages. It has 12 chapters, say for example, and you want to jump up to chapter number 8, right? How easy would it be if there was no index? You would have to split through so many pages before you would find the 8th chapter, right? But index makes the entire process extremely easy and quick. Once you have the index is nothing but pointers, right? Pointers to the page numbers. You look at the chapter number, the page number, and you jump up right there, right? So that is how, to manage these billions of documents that Googlebot crawls, we have to create an index around it, right? To make the search faster, right? So that is what happens in this next step, right? Once we have crawled or discovered the documents on the World Wide Web, we basically start cataloging, right? We basically create an index around it. Now once we have created this index, we are kind of ready to serve this information to the users who come to Google seeking that, right? However, the question that arises here is that how do we rank them, right? From the video, if you take an example, the query was cheetah running speed, right? There could be possibly like thousands of documents that are giving an answer to that question, right? Or talking about the cheetah running speed, etc., right? But however, how do we decide what is that one document that is the most relevant for that query and should go at the #1 position in the Google search results, right? How do we decide that? What is the next best result that should go at the #2 position, the #3 position, and so on and so forth? How do we decide that? That is based on at least 200 different factors. Now each of these factors is very complex and huge and vast in and of itself, but there are at least, so as to say, 200 factors that we consider, right, before we decide on the position of the results, right? And these results again can change based on your location or your browsing history, etc., etc. So this is extremely dynamic, right? But once we decide what pages to rank where, we are kind of ready to serve the results, and we serve the results. So this is an overview, a very broad overview of how the search engine works, right? Now we have seen the entire thing from a search engine's perspective, right? We have a little better understanding of how search works. However, one question I would like to ask here is like, is there anything that you as a webmaster or a content developer or as an SEO, search engine optimizer, is there anything that you can do to help this Googlebot crawl your website or discover the pages from your website, right? It is not always easy. Yes, questions are most welcome, right? But let us go through the slides and then we'll have a little time for Q&A. If at all I'm not able to answer your questions, then we are out there at our kiosk all through the day and tomorrow as well. All your questions will be answered, hopefully, right? So not only me, we also have some of my colleagues here to take all of your questions. So you're most welcome. So let us go through the slides first, right? Probably some of your answers may also already be answered in the presentation as well. Yeah, so basically, is there anything that you as a webmaster or a business owner or an SEO that you can do to help this Googlebot discover your pages or index them properly so as
tool that Google search is able to give your pages out when people are looking for that information, right? There, of course, are a lot of things that you can do, right? Of course, a lot of things that you can do. However, we will take at some of the things, right? Some of the very important things that you should do to make your website search engine friendly. One of the key elements is to create good content, right? This is extremely important. As they say, content is the king. It really is the king. When it comes to search, it really is the king, right? So it is extremely important for you to make good content. Good content is content that is like unique, compelling, written focused on your users, right? You have written that content with your users in mind, not the search engines in mind, right? So that is good content. Try to think in terms of what is that value add you can provide to your users, right? How can you give the best possible experience to your users, right? Focus on those areas, not only on the search engines, right? So one of the aims, or the aim of Google is to provide its users with the best possible experience it can, right? When they come for search, right? And when you also work with that goal with your websites, when you create your content to give the best possible experience to users that you can, our goals match. Yes? And when our goals match, Google will love your websites. Right? When your website is focused on your users, your content is created with focus completely on your users to give them value, right? Google will simply love those. So, yes, it is important to create good content. However, it is also important for you to make that good content search engine friendly. Now, how do you do that? Right? It is extremely important for you to make that content so as to it is easily consumable by the Google bots. Right? So how do you do that? There are a few things listed here. However, there are like many more things. I'll give you some of the pointers to some of the resources we have that you can read later. But let us discuss some key points here. One of the things is to use the appropriate keywords and key phrases within your content, right? Try to step into your user's shoes, right? And think in terms of what are those keywords or key phrases that a user would type in Google search if he had to find information that you have on your web pages. What are those keywords that he would actually use, right, in Google search? And try to incorporate those keywords and key phrases into your content. Of course, without overdoing it. Again, the focus should be on your user to provide user the value, not to tweak or influence the Google search results, right? There has to be a balance. But it is important for you to use those keywords and key phrases in your content. And one of the other very important things is to have appropriate and relevant titles of your pages, right? Titles is an extremely important bit here. It is one of the first impressions that a user gets about your page or about your websites in the Google search results. We have seen from the video like how a particular search result looks like in the search engine, right? On the search results page. You have the title followed by the URL and then the description, right? So the very first thing a user looks at about your website in the Google search results is the title, right? And Google ranks your website for certain keywords when it thinks that your content, the content of that page, is relevant to that query. However, if you don't have as relevant title, right? Relevant title in context of the content you have on the page. Right? If your title is not very relevant or appropriate to the content, the users may not find it appealing enough to click through. Even though you rank high, you may not get as many click-throughs. So it is extremely important to optimize your titles, right? And make them as relevant as possible to the content on the page. Same goes with the description, right? Description is the other bit that gives the very first impression about your pages on the Google search results page. Right? So it is, again, very important for you to optimize your descriptions and make them relevant as much as possible to the content on your page. There are many other things that you can do, like, say, for example, learning from the user behavior, right? One of the things to implement this you can do is, like, once you have your website or a blog or a service ready, try to run that through your family, your relatives, your friends, etc., and see how they are going about using it. Is everything going as intended, right? Are they getting stuck at any places? Or if you have written something, do they get what you're trying to convey? Right? These are some of the things that you can experiment with and then make the changes accordingly. So everything is basically about providing your users with the best experience that you can, with whatever you have, be it service, be it content, or whatever. Right? So the focus on the user is the key thing. Now, besides these good points, as I mentioned, there are a lot of other things that, of course, questions are most welcome, as I said, but let us go through this because we have limited time here, right? And let us understand this, there are other speakers waiting, right? So we have to get through this, in time, right? But however, we are there, available outside for all the questions. You're most welcome. I'm there, my colleagues are also there, right? Yeah. So, besides doing these things for your websites, right, making your content search engine friendly, it is also extremely important for you to be aware of some of the things that you must not do or must avoid, right? There are some webmasters who try to do some things which are against the Google quality guidelines, right? Which will definitely, they think those things may help them in getting better search results, better rankings, but in fact, they don't. Right? So let us take a look at some of those things. Like say for example, people think that if they load their pages with irrelevant keywords, right? Now these irrelevant keywords may be the ones that have more search volume than their primary keywords, right? So for example, I have a website, it is talking about say keyword X, but I realized that there is one keyword Y which is absolutely irrelevant to my content. However, this keyword Y has much more search volume than keyword X. So what I think is that putting this keyword Y on my pages would start ranking me for that keyword plus this keyword, and I would see more traffic, right? But that is simply not going to work. Right? That is not the good user experience. Imagine you are ranking for keyword Y in the search results. However, when a user clicks through, he reads content about keyword X, right? Where X and Y are totally irrelevant to each other. So this is something Google doesn't like, right? And instead of you doing better in the search results, you may even lose your rankings, or sometimes even thrown out of the index completely, right? So those are some of the actions that Google may take on your website. So be aware, especially if you are outsourcing your SEO or search engine optimization efforts, right? Make sure that you go through the guidelines, right? And see everything your SEO or your content developer, web developer, whoever it is, that he is doing is according to the Webmaster guidelines, right? So that is the URL where you can find all the guidelines, google.com/webmaster/guidelines.html. Some of the other things that people also do out of ignorance are like creating multiple pages or duplicate content, copying content from here and there, or like creating multiple pages, thinking that if I have like one page, I have that one chance to rank. But if I have that same content in 10 different pages, I have 10 times the chance to rank. Right? Simple logic, but that is not going to work again. Google doesn't like duplicate content, and it is extremely important for you to handle it correctly. Sometimes your content management system may do this, right? You are not intentionally or deliberately creating duplicate pages with same content, right? Multiple pages with same content. But say for example, if you're using WordPress, it creates multiple pages, right, for one post. That post is accessible through multiple URLs, right? Now it is important for you to handle it correctly. There are ways that you can do it, and those ways are very easy to implement, right? But you should take care of that. The other thing we find people doing is hiding text or links on their pages. Now, the thing that, okay, if I load irrelevant keywords on my pages, that is not good, but I think I can trick Googlebot by hiding those things, right? Having irrelevant keywords but hidden. Say for example, you have white background and you write with white font color, right? So this text is not visible to a general user who is viewing your website in a browser. However, when Googlebot comes to your website, it is actually looking through the code, and it knows what you are trying to do very well. It is very smart, right? I see smiles on some of the faces, right? Yeah, if you're doing it, I would say stop right now. Google doesn't like it, right? Yes. Another important thing for us to understand is the affiliation program. websites, right? Many of us are involved in affiliate businesses, and affiliation is in of itself not bad. Affiliation is out there in the offline world, in the online world. There is nothing bad earning from the affiliation. By affiliation, I mean basically you are not the manufacturer or the producer of a product, and you're not even a seller of that product. However, you are reselling that product, or you have a website from where you divert traffic to the original seller's website, and you earn commission on the sales made, right? This is affiliation. There is nothing wrong with this. However, if you have only this, then that is not something which is happening, right? Then that is not something which Google likes. Basically, think like this. Why would somebody want to go to your website instead of the original seller's website, right? They would want to land up there and buy the product there, rather going to a website and getting redirected, right? Unless you provide some real good value add, right? Say for example, you are a reseller of a product and you build a community around it, right? And that community is talking about that product, giving reviews about that product, rating those products, etc., right? And now a user would want to go to your website even before he goes on to the original seller's website, because he wants to read the user reviews, which are not available on the original site, right? So this is something the user wants, right? So focus on the user. That is the main thing. So affiliation, pure affiliation is not good, not recommended, but if you have something to add to it, a value add that is unique to your website, right, then that will make things happen. And there are many more guidelines. Please go to that link, do read all the guidelines and see that your websites are compliant with them, right? This takes us to the next part of this session, which is the Webmaster resources, right? So we have learned how important it is for Google to basically be able to crawl your websites, right? To learn about the information on your websites and have your pages cataloged. However, it is not always as smooth as we may think. Sometimes Googlebot may encounter several problems in crawling your websites, right? And it may not be able to capture all the information or all the pages you have on your website. And once that is not done, once Googlebot is not aware of the information that is available on your website, it won't be able to serve it. Think about the library example, right? If Googlebot doesn't know about the pages, however relevant they may be, however good quality your content may be, right? But if Googlebot doesn't know about it, it is not able to crawl it, your pages cannot be served in the Google search results, right? So problems like this, there are many more problems that Google may encounter, right? Google may want your websites, right? Want your data, but it may not be able to capture them, right? But however, is there a way for you to know in the first place that Googlebot is having problems with your website, right? That is extremely important to know, but is there a way that you can know that in the first place? And even if you know, is there a way that you can fix those problems, right? Of course, the good news is, yes, there are many ways, right? And for that, we have a lot of Webmaster resources put together for you to help you with these kind of issues, and many more, right? So let us quickly take a look at some of these resources we have for you. So basically, the starting point for you, for all the resources we have for webmasters, is google.com/webmaster. So this is one link I would want you to take away from this session, right? google.com/webmaster. So it's pretty easy to remember as well. Once you go on this page, this is how the page looks, right? So this is nothing but we have pointers to several other tools we have for you. So for example, say Webmaster Tools, Webmaster Education, Help Center, and some of the others, right? So let us take a look at some of these resources, and let's start with Webmaster Education. Once you click through that link, you will be taken to a program called Webmaster Academy. This is a newly launched program specifically targeted at the beginner search engine optimizers or the content developers, etc., the audience like you, right? It's a very nice program, structured and modular manner, meaning you can take lessons step by step, one after the other, tracking your progress, or you can pick and choose to learn whatever you want right from the middle, right? So, and we also have a dedicated tab for businesses, especially for people who have their businesses offline and they are trying to bring their own business online, right? They are trying to enter that internet world. So we have some articles there as well, and there is a dedicated tab for Webmaster Tools as well. What is Webmaster Tools? We will take a sneak peek into that in a bit. So yes, one of the other things that is good about this academy is that most of these lessons are accompanied by a video, right? So I absolutely assure you that it's not at all boring to go through the entire curriculum. So I do recommend to graduate from this Webmaster Academy, and then it's a very good starting point for you, right? It talks about things like how you can make sure that Google knows about your website. One of the very important things. Or say, for example, if your website mainly deals with images and video as content, you don't have much of text, but you have images and videos, right? How you can make those search engine friendly, so on and so forth. Very important topics, and taught at a very basic level, right? And many of these lessons also have pointers to in-depth articles that are actually outside of this academy, right? That talks about specific things or about fixing some issues and stuff like that. Now, when I say there are links to other articles that are outside of this academy, I need to say that there is another resource for you that we have, right, that can help you with specific issue, and that is the Help Center. Going back to our start page for Google, for the Webmaster resources, if you look at the right, you have Help Center. If you click through, you will be taken to this resource where we have elaborate articles organized in categories and then very easy to navigate, and you also have a search bar. You can actually search for things of your interest, right, and pick and choose the articles. It talks about things like, say for example, rel equals to canonical tag, right? So we learned about how important it is to take care of the duplicate content, right? So this is one of the tags that you can use to actually handle duplicate content, right? So how do you use that? Go to the Help Center and read that article, right? Or say for example, you want to make your description very appealing. How many of you seen stars in the description of Google search results pages? Wow, most of you, right? How does that happen? How are they doing it, right? Use the rich limits. So these kind of articles, right? If you want to learn about these kind of specific things, Help Center is the place you would want to go. Not only that, it also has articles on like fixing an issue. Like we talked about like Googlebot having problems with your website, right? How do you deal with it? How do you fix that? Not only this, many other things, right? That these articles will tell you how to fix them. So, and most of these articles, like many within these articles, you'll find a link to one of the other very useful and powerful resources we have, right? And that resource is nothing but Webmaster Tools that we already spoke about. So if you going back to the Webmaster Resources page, starting point, on the left you will see the Webmaster Tools. If you click through, you will be taken to the Webmaster Tools account. Now this is the free service, so everything I'm showing you here is absolutely free to use. Like some people have questions like, is it paid or free? Everything is like completely free. If you already have a Gmail account or any other Google service account, you just have to activate Webmaster Tools for your account, right? Once you activate Webmaster Tools or sign up for free, you will have to add your websites, and you can manage multiple websites from within one account, right? It is extremely easy for you to add a site to your Webmaster Tools account. Just click on this button on the right, and then fill in your URL, and that's it. The website is added. However, once you add, you will have to verify and tell Google that you are the owner of that website, right? Because Google is going to share some vital and crucial information about your website with you in this tool. So it is important for you to verify. Once you add and verify, verifying is also like extremely easy for you to do. Once you add and verify, right, almost instantly Google starts sharing with you very vital or crucial information about your website in relation to Google. Let us see what that information looks like. One of the things that Google shares with you about your website is the crawlers. We spoke about like Googlebot having problems, right? This is the place where you can learn more about it and fix it, right? Webmaster Tools account basically tells you like what were the problems that Googlebot encountered when it was trying to discover your pages or crawl your pages. In how many numbers? Not only that, it also tells you, it gives you specific links to the specific pages where Googlebot actually encountered the problem, so that you can go there and fix those issues, right? One of the other important bits that Google shares with you is the search queries, right? So it tells you basically, if you look at the left, right, so these are basically the keywords, the key phrases that users actually type into Google to find your pages in Google search results, right? Remember we talked about stepping into the user's foot and thinking like what are those keywords that a user may use, right, and using those keywords and prefaces in your content, this is one of your sources to get those information, right? So this kind of data, you know, telling you like what are those keywords that people are actually typing in Google search and finding your pages, etc. Not only this, it also shares with you information like how many times your pages appeared for each of those keywords in Google search results, right? Basically, how many impressions your page has got. Moreover, it will also tell you like how many times people actually click through to your pages. Now, this can tell you something again, right? Maybe if that click-through rate is like really low, maybe you need to optimize your titles, descriptions, make them more appealing, right? Use relation threads, etc., etc. There are many ways to interpret this, right? But this is some very useful data here. One of the other bits it shares with you is the average position of your pages for each of those pages. So this kind of information, there are a lot more that Google shares with you within the Webmaster Tools account. So I highly recommend, if you're not already using this, go back. The first thing you would want to do is sign up for this. Get your websites verified and start enjoying this, all of this information, right? So say for example, one of the other things that it can also help you with, right? This happens. One day you wake up in the morning, you log into your Webmaster Tools account, you're checking your search queries, and suddenly you see it like there's a steep dip in the click-throughs. Why would this happen? There are a number of reasons why this may happen. Like you said, maybe the title is not optimized, description is not optimized, but you're seeing a dip. Why is that dip, right? One of the things also could be that your website may have been hit by a malware, right? How many have you seen a warning on Google search results pages saying this site may harm your computer? Right? Most of us, yes, because Google takes care of you as users, right? Google doesn't want you to get harmed by such websites. Now, unfortunately, if that is you whose website has gotten hit by this malware, Google starts displaying this against your pages as well. Right? Which is not a good sign for your website, for your business, right? But how would you know that Google has identified your website as being hit by a malware, right? And even if you know, how would you get it fixed, right? Those questions. So if you sign up for the Webmaster Tools account, Google actually proactively sends you the messages every time it encounters such problems, right? And this is how the message looks, right? It tells you like what the problem is, and it also gives you links to the pages, so the articles in the help center that can help you fix that issue. Not only that, it will also tell you, give you an sample of the exact pages where the problem lies, right? Not only this, it also allows you to basically automatically forward all these messages to your email addresses. It is not that you daily wake up and log into your Webmaster Tools account, right? So there is also a feature in here where you can actually set these notifications to be sent automatically or forwarded automatically to your email addresses. So that kind of the power it gives to its users, right? So one of the very important tools, I highly recommend you to go back and sign up for this already if you haven't done. So I think that's all I had for you for the resources. But before we go, I would like to give a short introduction to some of the other resources we have, going back to our google.com/webmasters page, your starting point for resources. If you scroll down, you'll find a link to some of the other things we have, like for example, blog, right? Now we have like an international blog and a regional blog specific to India, right? And here we update like what's happening in the search page, what are the new features we're coming up with, what are the new updates we're trying to push, etc., etc. So this is an extremely important resource for you to keep yourself updated with if you want success in search results, right? So go back and do subscribe to the Google Blogs. The other thing I would like to take your attention towards is the forum, right? Now this is one of the very big, thriving community we have across the globe, right? With so many experienced people out there. So if you have any problems, any issues with your website, and you're not able to find a solution, you may sometimes think that problem is like very unique to you, and there is no solution probably to it. But however, when you pose that question in these forums, right, you will find a number of people who have already been hit by that same problem, and they already have a solution. Right? And we also have some Googlers who actually keep patrolling these forums, and you may also hear from...
Like Alice. She just opened an online store for her handmade jewelry. But now she's wondering, can people find her site on Google? With Google Webmaster Tools, Alice can make sure that Google finds her store and shows it for the correct search queries. Webmaster Tools displays the errors that Google finds when reading her site, so Alice can check those errors and fix them to make all her pages appear in search results. Every time Alice creates a new product page, she can use Webmaster Tools to see if other people link to it and how often the page appears in Google search results. She can use that data to discover the most successful pages and products in her store, so she can focus on that and increase traffic to her site. Webmaster Tools also regularly checks her site for malware and other problems and will even send an email alert if it finds important issues. Now Alice can be sure that everything is okay with her site with Google Webmaster Tools.
So see how
The
Alice
internet
was
isn't
benefited with the Webmaster is like, do not forget to sign up for the Webmaster Tools account, subscribe to the blog, the YouTube channel, and start using the forum, right? And one thing the one link you can take away is the google.com/webmasters, right? Thank you for attending. We have like only 2 minutes for questions here, right? We have all day outside, right? So yes, please go ahead. I think, right, we have this Google board that goes on crawling, right? So that is the thing we have. Crawl images, yes, of course. The same Google board, it also crawls the images. You want to know about the exact things that Google board looks at when crawling the images, right? So it is the meta information. Of course, Google board is not as good as, in reading the text within the images, right? Although it may understand to some extent, but it basically looks at the information surrounding it. Yes. Yeah.
It's the policies of the Google, or is it just in favor?
Right, so basically he has, his SEO is trying to like create a script that will automatically generate thousands of links for him, right? That may help crawling, Googlebot crawling his website. Is this recommended or not, right? How many of you think it is recommended or not? It is recommended. Raise your hands if you think it is recommended. You got your answer. See?
If you're creating your own links, right, where is this value factor? What Google is looking at is not the links, but the value factor. If this value factor is missing, those links are of no use. They may instead harm your SEOs, right, your rankings. So unfortunately, we are like out of time. Thank you for your time and questions. We are out there to answer all your questions. Yes, I think I saw your face in the morning as well, right? Yes. So yes, we can meet outside, right? Thank you so much. My other colleague is waiting for her presentation.